We recognize that the Hogan Administrative Center occupies the land of the Ho-Chunk people. Please take a moment to celebrate and honor this ancestral Ho-Chunk land and the sacred lands of all Indigenous peoples. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Baldwin? Here. Ms. Bergwall? Here. Dr. Garcia? Here. Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Dr. Jimenez?
Here.
Mr. Neumeister?
Here.
Mr. Korberg?
Here.
Dr. Sprague?
Here.
Ms. Lukla? Here.
Quorum of the Board of Education is present, so the reorganizational meeting of April 24th, 2023 is called to order, and we will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Korberg and seconded by Ms. Sukla to approve the agenda as presented. And tonight's agenda has previously been distributed to the board. So we will approve the agenda as submitted unless there is a motion to amend. Is there a motion to amend? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion has carried, and we'll move on to public speakers. We do not have any listed, so we'll move on to the approval of certification and summary statement of the Board of Canvassers for the April 4th, 2023 school board election.
Make a motion to approve the certificates of election as presented.
I'll second.
So moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Dr. Garcia to approve the certification and summary statement. Actually, we need it's actually the certificates and summary statement.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, but we'll do that one first and we'll come back to it. So we'll approve the certificates of election.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong.
That's okay.
Fat thumb.
No, we'll leave it and then we'll come back to it. So right now we are looking to approve the certificates of election as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the certificates of election, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried. We'll go back to 1.04, the approval of certification and summary statement for the Board of Canvassers for the April 4th, 2023 school board election.
I'll make the motion to approve the certification and summary statement for the Board of Canvassers for the April 4th, 2023 school board election as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Ms. Berkedal, to approve the certification and summary statement of the Board of Canvassers for the April 4th, 2023 school board election as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? That motion has carried, and we will move to the oath of office. So if the new board members would join me in the center. All right. Move over here so people can see you. Not in front of the camera. So if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Travis Sprague,
Having been elected to the office of school board member,
having been elected to the office of school board member,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
affirm that I will support
affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said
to
office
the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Just kind of take off of it.
That's all right.
It's a north side thing.
With that, we'll move on to the board reorganization, the election of officers. So section 120.43 sub 1 of the Wisconsin statutes states, annually, on or within 30 days after the fourth Monday in April, the school board shall elect a school district president, vice president, clerk, and treasurer from among its members and a school board secretary who need not be a member of the school board. Nominations do not require a second. Voting may be by secret ballot per Wisconsin statute 19.88 sub 1, and it takes a majority of those present to elect. So, our first item of our agenda this evening is a decision whether or not to vote by secret ballot. So typically, we will take a vote in the affirmative. So it would be a vote to vote by secret ballot if there's more than one nominee. That's the way Robert's rules run. So if we only have one candidate, then we would vote by acclamation, and we can go through that process if we get to that point. But if anybody wants to make a motion to vote by secret ballot if there's more than one nominee.
So moved.
Is there a second? Who was that? Okay. So moved by Mr. Korberg and seconded by Ms. Baumann to vote by secret ballot if there is more than one nominee. Is there any discussion on that? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion has carried, and we will move to the first election, the election of the school district president. Are there any nominations for school district president?
I'd like to nominate Annie Bowman.
Second.
You don't need a second. It's all right. We only do this once a year, so even I forget. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, then I would ask a member of the board to vote to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Annie Baumann as school district president.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Dr. Garcia, to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Annie Baumann as school district president. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion has carried, and congratulations, Ms. Baumann. We'll move on to the election of the school district vice president. Are there any nominations for school district vice president?
I nominate Brad Korberg.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Not that we have to do it 3 times, but supposedly we do. So, since I hear none, then I would ask a member to vote to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Brad Korberg as school district vice president. Is there a motion? By Ms. Sukla, second by?
Seconded.
By Mr. Sprague. So, moved by Ms. Sukla, seconded by Mr. Sprague to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Brad Korberg as school district vice president. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion has carried, and we'll move on to the election of school district clerk, and I would like to nominate Dr. Garcia as the school district clerk. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? It'll get repetitive, I promise. If there are no other nominations, I would ask a member to vote to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Dr. Garcia as school district clerk.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Ms. Birkendahl and seconded by Ms. Baumann to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Dr. Garcia as school district clerk. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion has carried, and we will move on to the election of the school district treasurer. Are there any nominations for school district treasurer?
I'll nominate Dr. Jimenez for treasurer.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, then I would ask a member to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Juan Jimenez as school district treasurer. That's weird. Is there a second?
Second.
So moved by Mr. Sprague and seconded by Ms. Birkendahl to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Juan Jimenez as school district treasurer. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? That motion has carried, and we'll move on to the election of the school board secretary. Now, for background, as stated in state law, this position does not have to be a school board member, and typically it has been the board's secretary, in this case, Ms. Steigerwald. So are there any other nominations for school board secretary?
Did you nominate her then? Or?
No, I did not.
I nominate Laura Steigerwald.
Second.
Okay, moved by, no, but that's okay. See, once a year. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations from the board? Hearing none, then I would ask a member to move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Laura Stegerwald as School Board Secretary. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? I'll take,
Second.
okay. We'll take, this is going to be fun. So, moved by Ms. Sukla, seconded by Dr. Garcia, to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Laura Stegerwald as School Board Secretary. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. That motion has carried, and we'll move on to 1.14. Reaffirm the board's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm the La Crosse Board of Education's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment as described in both policy GC1, board purpose and commitment, and policy GC2, governing commitments.
Is there a second? Was that you, Ms. Birkendahl?
Yeah.
Thank you. So moved by Mr. Korberg and seconded by Ms. Birkendahl to reaffirm the La Crosse Board of Education's purpose, philosophy, and governance commitment as described in both policy GC1, board purpose and commitment, and policy GC2, governing commitments. Any discussion?
We have training on that coming up?
We do. All right. No other discussion, so all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. The motion has carried, and we'll move to the appointment of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards delegate and alternate. Is there any nominations for the WASB delegate?
I'll make a nomination for Deb Sukla.
Okay. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? I would ask Mr. Korberg if he's interested in running for WASB.
Oh, I'll do the alternate.
Okay, perfect. So then, we will start then with the nominations for WASB delegate. I hear no other nominations, so I need a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Deb Sukla as the 2023-2024 WASB delegate.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Garcia, seconded by Mr. Newmeister, to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Deb Sukla as the 2023-2024 WASB delegate. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. That motion has carried, and we'll move on to the WASB alternate, and so I would move to nominate Mr. Korberg as the WASB alternate. Is there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Move to close nominations
Okay.
and cast unanimous vote for Brad Korberg as the 2023-2024 WASB alternate.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So moved by Ms. Sukla, seconded by Mr. Sprague, to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Brad Korberg as the 2023-2024 WASB alternate. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. That motion has carried, and we will move on to the appointment of the Cooperative Educational Service Agency Board of Control representative. So are there any nominations for the CISA 4 Board of Control representative who attends all meetings of the CISA 4 Board of Control, as well as the annual convention on Wednesday, June 7th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.?
It meets the first Wednesday of each month. So just if people are thinking about their availability.
Are there any nominations for CISA 4 Board of Control? Don't jump at once. And we do need somebody to move on the agenda. So who is interested, if anybody?
I'll nominate Trevor Sprague.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Would you accept it, Ms. Sumi? Yeah. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, then I would ask a board member to move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Trevor Sprague as the 2023-2024 CISA 4 Board of Control representative.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Baumann, was that you? Oh, that was Ms. Sukla, thank you. I need to get used to these, I got so used to voices, now I've got to learn that all over again. So, moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Ms. Sukla, to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Trevor Sprague as the 2023-2024 CISA 4 Board of Control representative. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. That motion has carried, and we'll move on to the appointment of the tax incremental finance representative. And this position also has not typically been a board member. There is quite a bit of finance background that is desperately needed in this position, and we've typically had the person in Ms. Sprang's role in that position. And but are there any nominations for the TIF representative?
I nominate Patty Sprague.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And are there any other nominations? If not, then I ask a board member to move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Patty Sprang as the 2023-2024 TIF representative.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Ms. Baumann to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Patty Sprang as the 2023-2024 TIF representative. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. That motion has carried, and we'll move on to the appointment of the deputy clerk. And typically, again, this has been the board secretary because she is available all the time during business hours, and so we would typically appoint somebody in Ms. Steigerwald's position. So are there any nominations for board's deputy clerk?
I nominate Laura Steigerwald.
Is there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I'd ask a board member to move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Laura Steigerwald as the board's deputy clerk.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Baumann, seconded by Mr. Sprague to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Laura Steigerwald as the board's deputy clerk. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion has carried. We'll move on to 1.19, almost there. The appointment of other memberships. And so we do have the La Crosse Public Education Foundation position that is typically a position that is held by a board member. So are there any nominations for the board representative for the La Crosse Public Education Foundation?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Katie Bergedal.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I would ask a board member to move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Katie Berkedal as the board's representative to the La Crosse Public Education Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Dr. Garcia, seconded by Mr. Newmeister to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Katie Berkedal as the board's representative for the La Crosse Public Education Foundation. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. That motion has carried. And our final motion of the evening, the approval of the 2023-2024 Board of Education meeting schedule.
Make a motion to approve the 2023-24 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented or revised.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is that you, Ms. Berkedal?
Yes.
Yeah. Moved by Mr. Korberg, seconded by Ms. Berkedal to approve the 2023-2024 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented or revised. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, so the May 2024 appears to be the first and second Monday, if I'm reading this right. Is that a change on purpose, or is that a typo? It just seems unusual for me.
It's probably,
I think
I just want to make sure
mistake.
since we're approving this.
Yeah.
That's okay.
that's why, and I was just going to say, this is why we say revised. There are times where we might schedule out, and for whatever reason, there might be a holiday that falls there, or school is closed for whatever reason, and so we do move board meetings. So this is typically the standard structure, but there may be adjustments, and we let the board members know early.
So that should be
20th.
the 20th?
20th, yep.
Yes. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, then moved by Mr. Korberg and seconded by Ms. Berkedal, if I remember correctly, to approve the 2023-2024 Board of Education meeting as scheduled as presented or revised. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion has carried, and we will now adjourn upstairs to room 209 for the board member orientation. So thank you so much, and I look forward to handing the gavel to Ms. Baumann at the next meeting. So congratulations again.